Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to display rewarded interstitial ads in Godot game engine. So let's get started. So this is the documentation. If you want, you can go through this documentation. I won't waste much of your time. Let's just get started. Firstly, you would require a Mac OS and you would require Xcode installed. So those are the two requirements, and of course you would require Godot game engine installed. Now firstly we'll have, so first what I have done is that I have just created one empty Godot folder. You can name it whatever you feel like. It's just that there will be multiple projects, that's why I have created one parent folder, but if you don't want to create it, it's up to you. Then just open Xcode, go to file, new, package, then select multi-platform, select library, click next again, and here select Godot, and I will name the library as my library. I'll keep the name as default, but you can name it whatever you feel like. But do remember this name because we will be using this name in lot other places as well, so be careful. Now I will just click on create. Now here I have just created one cheat sheet of a sort, so don't get confused. So first thing is we have to go to this particular URL because we need to use the Swift Godot dependency. So I can just open this over here. So over here they have given the steps how to integrate Swift Godot over here. So we have already done these two steps. Then we have to copy this dependency section which you see over here and paste it after our product. So go to your package and here you will have to paste this and just do Command S, so it will automatically download this particular dependency using Swift package manager. If you see on the left hand side here, you can see it has been downloaded. Just wait for a few seconds, it will download it automatically. Then the next thing is we have to add this platform iOS version 17 as well. So if you see, they have given it, scroll down, and they have given it for Mac OS, but we have to use it for iOS. So I will just paste it over here. Now I have tried with iOS version 15, but I was getting compile time error while building this library. That's why I have updated to version 17. Okay, the next thing is we have to add this type dynamic as well. Now again, if you see over here, they have added this type dynamic over here after the library name, so just add it over here. Okay, also I'll just remove this space, unnecessary space. Okay, then we have to add this dependency section as well. So again, if you see, scroll down, here you can see they have added this dependency section after target name. So after target name, add a comma, and here I'll just paste this. I will just do Command A, Control I to improve the indentation a bit. Okay, also next thing is, at least at the time of me recording this video, Swift Godot does not support Swift version 6, so we'll have to downgrade it to Swift 5.10. but just check the Swift Godot repository. If it already supports Swift version 6, then you don't have to do this particular change. So yeah, do check the Swift Godot repo as well. Then if you go back to this particular thing, to add this Google Ads dependency, we will again be using Swift package manager. We are not using CocoaPods. So for that, you can just copy this particular URL over here which they have given, and we just have to use the same way like we have done above. So I can just do this. What I'll do is I'll just copy this, I'll paste it over here, then I'll just copy this and I'll remove this particular line of code. Okay, and I'll paste it over here, and I'll just do Command S again, so it will download the dependency using Swift package manager for us. So if you see over here, it has downloaded. Now given that we have added this particular thing, we also need to add the dependency over here. Now we can't just write Google mobile ads. There is a particular way of writing that. So here you can see I have already written a cheat sheet for this. So you just have to paste something like this, Google mobile ads, and this is the particular package. Again, do a Command S just to be on the safer side. Okay, so this is done as well. So this is done. Then inside our library we will have to add the actual code. Now I will cheat a little bit. I already have one sample project created. From that I will just copy all the code. This project was created before recording this particular video because I wanted to practice it once. Okay, I'll just copy this and then I'll explain it to you, all the things. So just paste it over here. So firstly we have to import UI kit, we have to import Swift Godot, and we also have to import Google mobile ads. Now this is boilerplate code which you have to write every time you want to create an iOS plugin using Swift Godot. So only thing is this should be your library name. If you are seeing all these errors from Xcode like me over here, ignore this. Xcode does not play nicely with Swift Godot, so don't worry about it. Then we have now to see the actual code. I have copied this code from this particular documentation of rewarded interstitial. So if you want, you can just go through this documentation. I won't go through it and waste your time. I have already gone through it. So here we have to create an ads delegate class, and we have to extend from this GAD full screen content delegate. Okay, and here I have created few callbacks: on present error, on will present, on dismiss. And once this particular method is called, that means on present error add did fail with, because this method is not created by me. We are overriding all these three methods from this particular delegate class. Okay, so in case if there is any error, we just call the on present error callback and give this error back. In case the add did present full screen mode, we just call on will present, and in case the add did dismiss, we just call on dismiss. Okay, then I have created another class called my library, which is the same as my plugin name, and we have to extend it, annotate it with @Godot, because we will be initializing this library using this name on GDScript side as well. Then here we just extend ref counted as well. Then I have created one signal. So signals are basically used for sending data from native iOS side to Godot side. That's why I have created this signal. Now I have created only one signal, and I'm using that one particular signal for doing everything. If you want, you can create multiple signals as well. Then here we just initialize this rewarded interstitial add, create a variable for it, not initialize it, and do the same thing for our add delegates as well. Then I have created one method called initialize rewarded ads, annotated with @callback, so that we can call this method from GDScript side, and this should be called inside the on ready or the ready method of our GDScript, so that this is initialized before the user tries to use it. So here we initialize our add delegate. In case of any error, I emit a signal saying that back to Godot side, okay, there was some error, you might have to check it. Same you can do for on will present and on dismiss as well. If you want, you can use it. I have commented it out because I'm using one signal for doing everything, and I want to show you, once the user has seen our ads, I want to show you that the reward has been sent back from native iOS side to Godot side. That's why I have commented this out. If you uncomment this, and if you're only using one signal for everything, then the last message which you will see is this particular thing. But I don't want to show you, because this is this is fine. If you want, you can create a signal for this as for this callbacks as well, but on will present and on dismiss I don't find really useful. But yeah, in your use case it might be useful. So yeah, that's why I have commented it, because I have only one signal to do everything. But if you want, you can uncomment this as well. Then here we just start this completion handler of Google mobile ads. Then we just load our rewarded interstitial ad. Here I have passed the ad unit. Now later on in the video we will see how to create a production ad unit, but while testing you should test with the test ad units which have been given in the documentation. So if you see the documentation over here, they have already given one test ad. Don't try to use production ads while you are in the development phase, otherwise Google might block your AdMob account as well. So be careful with that. So once in case if there is no error, if there is any error, then I'm just sending the error back. In case if there is no error, then we just assign it to our rewarded interstitial add variable, emit a signal saying ad was loaded, and just assign the full screen delegate as well. Then here is our display ad, which you can call whenever you feel like. Once the ad has been loaded, once you get this callback, then only call display ad. It can be on if the user has completed a stage, or on a button click, whatever you feel like is the right way, right time to call this particular method inside your game. So here I'm just checking if rewarded interstitial ad is not equal to nil, and here we get hold of our root view controller. Then we just do rewarded interstitial add dot present, pass our root view controller, and here we just do rewarded interstitial add dot add reward. Okay, now also we'll see later on how to change this add reward as well. So I wanted to send this reward amount back to Godot side. That's why I commented these two things out, because this thing will get called on dismiss will get called at the very last, and I won't be able to show you guys this because this message will get overridden by this particular thing. Of course, like I said, you can create a separate signal, or you can create different labels on the Godot side just for debugging purpose. So it's, or maybe do a debug print, but just for save my own sanity and for easier to show it to you, I have commented out these two things, this signal as well as this signal. So hopefully you got the point. If you are confused, please read the documentation. I mean, it's not that difficult. There is one more thing. If you see, if I just scroll down, sorry, not over here, we'll have to go back over here. So okay, so this particular, we'll come back to this particular part later on because we need to add this inside a file called info.plist. So yeah, the next, I'll just close this. The next thing is we have to create a build.sh file. Now I won't create that build.sh file from Xcode. I will do it via VS Code because I'm more comfortable doing it from VS Code. I always mess it up while doing it via Xcode, but if you're comfortable, you can do it via Xcode as well. So all I have done is that I have opened the main Godot folder inside VS Code. I'll just open my cheat sheet as well. Now here inside our library, we just have to create a file called build.sh. So I will just create this particular file. Now you will have to go to this particular URL. So just open this particular URL. Now again, shout out to this guy Stephen who has helped me a lot. So you just have to copy all this code which has been given inside build.sh and paste it over here. Don't think too much, even I don't understand all of it. The only thing which you have to change is over here you will just have to name this to my library. Okay, sorry, my library over here, and also after this you have to add this skip macro validation. I'm not sure why we need to add this, but when I was trying to compile it, it was giving me an error and Stefan suggested me to add this. That's why I've added it. And this change you have to do, change it to your library name. That's it. These are the only two changes. Then you just have to cd to your my library inside terminal, and I will just close this now as well. And you will have to first run this particular command. Just paste it over here. Then we have to run this command. Now I'm not planning to deploy this app to Apple App Store, so I can only generate the debug framework. But if you are planning it to deploy it, instead of debug, you have also need to replace it with release. That's it, and it will generate the release framework as well. But for now I will just generate the debug framework. I'll paste it over here. Now this will take little bit of time to run, so yeah, don't worry too much about it. Then we just go back to our Godot game engine. Now at the time of me recording this video, I'm using Godot 4.3.0. I don't think there will be any breaking changes as such in future version of Godot, so feel free to use whatever is the latest version whenever you are watching the video. Then just click on create, browse to the Godot folder, parent Godot folder which we have created over here, and I will just name it as my Godot project. You can name it whatever you feel like. Okay, click on create and edit. Let's just wait. Then you will have to go to project, click on export, click on add, go to iOS, click on fix import, and here you will have to enter your App Store team ID. I will enter mine later on, but to make sure you enter it now only. But to get your App Store team ID, you can go to this particular URL over here. So this will help you to get your App Store team ID. It will guide you how to get your App Store team ID. Then you have to enter your bundle identifier as well. So I will just enter com dot nobody dot my app. Typically it is com dot your company name dot your app name, but this is just a practice project, so this is fine. Then I will just create a 2D scene. I will just quickly save it. I will run it as well so that my current scene is selected. Otherwise, if you don't select your current scene, you will face issues later on. Then over here I can just create one button and one label. That's all I want. Okay, so I will just create one button, and here I will create one label. and I'll quickly save it. Then I will attach one script over here as well. Okay, and then I will go to our button. I will go to node. I will add the press signal, like press signal as well, and we also need to get hold of our label, so I will just drag and drop it over here. Okay, now again I will cheat a little bit. I will just go to my practice project where I have this code written. Godot project. Okay, so here is our first we have to create a variable for instantiating this particular library. So here is our variable for my library. Then inside onReady we will just initialize it. We will connect our signal, as well as we will also call the initialize rewarded adds method as well. So here you can see I'm initializing our library. Again, this should be your own library name over here as well as over here. Then we call a method called initialize rewarded adds, so the method which we defined just to initialize everything. And here we are connecting our signal as well, which was called output. Now we have to create this particular method as well, so that's what I will do over here. So whenever this native iOS site sends a signal, we are just updating our label text. So that's what we are doing over here. And on button click, we just display. On button click, we just call this particular display add method. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Next, what again, I will just go back to VS Code. If you want, you can do this from Godot game engine as well. I'm just comfortable from VS Code. So from VS Code, we will have to create a folder called bin inside Godot project. So go to your Godot project and here create a folder called bin, and inside that we have to create a file called mylibrary.gd extension. So I'll just create this particular file. Now the problem is, if you go back to Godot game engine, if you try to see this bin folder and try to open this .gd extension, I'm not able to open it. Maybe there is some workaround which I'm not aware about, but yeah, for now I'll just do everything via VS Code. Now for inside this .gd extension file, we just have to copy this code and paste it over here. Now again, the same thing, do remember, if you are generating the release framework, you will have to replace the debug with release, but for me it is just a debug. Okay, now if I open my terminal, here you can see the library framework was built successfully as well. Now I will just go to my Godot folder. Here I will quickly create one iOS folder because we want to export our project. Go to your library, go to bin, go to iOS, copy these two .framework files, come back to our Godot game project, go to bin and just paste it over here. Okay, so this is done as well. Now let's, hopefully that's it. Now let's export our project. Okay, before you export your project, make sure you just press Command S as well, because I have noticed many a times Godot game engine does not save our code automatically. We have to press Command S manually. Then just go to project, export, click on export project, and here I will just go to our iOS folder and click on save. Now this will take little bit of time to create our iOS project, so just be patient. In the meantime, what I can do is, okay, let's do that later on. I don't want to confuse you guys too much, so let's just wait for this to finish, then I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see over here, my project was exported successfully. Then I can just go to our iOS folder. I can double click on this .xcode proj file. It will open it inside Xcode. Then make sure you run this output on a real device. But before you run it, like I mentioned, we will have to go to supporting files. We will have to open this .info.plist. Just right click on it, open as source code, because that is more easier to edit. Now here they have just messed up. I will just remove the spaces, blank spaces. I'll just improve the indentation a little bit. I'll just move this down. This is not necessary, it's just that otherwise I won't be satisfied with myself. Okay, now here you can see we have to add this application identifier as well. Now this particular part is necessary. Again, this is a test ID, so don't worry too much. So here you can just paste it like this. Okay, now again this has messed up, so I'll just move this a little bit, something like this. Now depends on you which third party bias you want to add. I will just add the first one, so up till here. Okay, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Now we also need to close this particular array which we have started, so make sure you add something like this as well. Okay, if you see in the docs, they have closed the array at the very bottom, but I don't want to copy everything. So here you can see they have. Now if you want to know which particular this add network identifier corresponds to, you will have to go to this select third party buyers documentation. So I won't go into that. I'm just using the first one. This belongs to Google. So yeah, I'm happy with this. But if you are interested in all other things, then you will have to add this all things as well, depending on what you want. So yeah, that's it. Now again, like I mentioned, you can run your application. Make sure you run this on a real device, because on a simulator it will throw an error saying that Vulkan not supported and all that. Now let me mirror my device as well so that I can show you guys the output. Okay, so I've mirrored my device. Now this does take a little bit of time because we are running the debug IPA. We are not running release IPA, so it does take a little bit of time to load. And also for the very first time you will get this. Okay, so I need to run it again. This happens to me every single time. I don't know why, but yeah, this is fine. Now if you remember, on once our scene loads inside the on ready, we are initializing our ads, right? So as soon as our ads has been initialized, our label should show ads has been loaded, then only we can press the button, otherwise we will get our ad won't load. So let's just wait. Okay, let's see if there are any errors. Okay, so here you can see, okay, I forgot to give my button some name, but that is fine. Here you can see our ad has been loaded, our label has been updated. Sorry, I forgot to give the button some text, but yeah, just bear with me over here. It's fine, no big deal. Now I will click on our button. Here you can see that it has started playing the ad. Now again, this was just a test ad. Now if I dismiss this, here you can see now our button is saying this is the amount which the user has earned. Now you will have to store it inside your database, or however you want to use it inside your game. It's up to you. So hopefully you got the point. Now coming back to how to generate the production uh, values for AdMob. So if you see over here, we are using this as a test ID. Okay, this GAD application identifier. Also, whenever you try to export your project from Godot, these values will get lost. Okay, so make sure you add it again and again. I don't know if there is any other better way to do this. Also, if you go to our library code over here, here also we were using this as a test ID, right? So we require these two values from Google AdMob. So all you have to do is just go to Google AdMob, click on apps. I have a lot of unnecessary junk apps, but hopefully you got the point. Select iOS. uh, it depends on you whether your app is listed on App Store or not. Mine is no. Just click on continue, give it some name. I will just give it some random name. I'll click on add, click done. So here we are inside our ad. Then click on add unit. Here you will have to select rewarded interstitial, give it some name whatever you feel like, and here you will have to enter the amount, maybe 19. Okay, and just click on create ad. If you want to do some advanced ad settings as well, you can do that. I'm not going into that. I'll just click on create ad unit, and here you can see it has given these two values. So you will have to use these two values inside our code, inside our library code, and one inside the info.plist. So yeah, but again, make sure you use test ad units only when at the time of deployment. That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.